What's up, guys? So, welcome back. It's 2024. We are back with the first video of the new year, and this one's going to be very cool to me, I think, because not only is this the first new video of the year, this is going to be like a touch of a celebration video for crossing 500 subscribers, because that's just really cool to me. I started this channel just because I thought it'd be fun, you know, I didn't expect it to actually go anywhere, and we're slowly building, and I just find that to be really cool. So, to everyone who's subscribed, to everyone who's here, thank you so much for being here. But I wanted to celebrate what is ostensibly, you know, halfway to being able to make some kind of profession out of being a YouTuber, because 1,000 subscribers is the threshold for joining the partner program. I thought it would be fun to do another kind of halfway video, and that halfway point is going to be collecting half of the N64 library. I didn't get a lot of footage in Tampa, so I'm just gonna flash what little bit of footage I got on the screen right now while I talk. Before we went on break, I had about 125 Nintendo 64 games, and for those who don't know, there are 296. So I needed 148 N64 games to be considered halfway. So I thought, hey, while I'm on break, I'm gonna go just buy a bunch of the crappier, cheaper games to pad out the collection to get me up to that halfway point, because I thought that would be a good celebratory mark for halfway to 1,000 subscribers, halfway to the N64 library. And I gotta say, Tampa came through in spades. It's unfortunate why. One of these stores down there that I really liked going to, the guy who ran the store was very in the know of his stuff, and he was very fair with his pricing. Anytime I went in there, I never felt anything in his store was overpriced. So I always wanted to go support his store anytime we were down there. I know what you're thinking. This does not look like 23 N64 games. And you're right, because it's not. There's an irritating and funny story about these, but we'll get to that in a moment. And so in this shoebox here is the N64 games I needed to get to halfway. But we'll cover these in a minute, because going to Florida, you know, I didn't just go and collect these. I obviously got some more stuff, and I want to talk about that stuff first before we get into the N64 games that are adding to the collection. But first, I wanted to show you guys something that I think is really cool. I had some interest in making myself a t-shirt of like my logo and everything. And so I found a local company to actually make me one, and I had several made for some friends of mine. So you got the logo chest patch, and then on the back, you've got the big logo with the URL. And yes, we are URL official now. This is not something that's up for sale. If anybody sees this and wants it, I thought it'd be something that would be fun for me to have. So I haven't looked into how I could actually like make like a marketplace, but I do have a few extras. If you see me at a convention or something, bring it up. I might be willing to part with one for you. But also, if that is something that is an interest to you guys, let me know, and I'll do some digging to see if a shirt marketplace or something is something that I could look into and do, because that would be pretty cool to have a storefront like that. I just don't think my channel is big enough to warrant it yet. Now, the first one that I got was actually from April's dad. As I've mentioned before, he's a big gamer, and he's been playing PlayStation since the PS1. And every time I come down there, he tries to parse out a little bit of his collection to me, because he knows I collect things. This time, I showed interest in playing the Arkham games, the Batman Arkham games, and so he just gave me his copy of Arkham City. I've heard great things about the Arkham games, and I know that this is kind of the like groundwork for the new Spider-Man games, and I love those Spider-Man games. So I've heard that the combat in the new Spider-Man games is very similar to these Arkham games, so that sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. So we'll get into that at some point in the future. The next thing I picked up on our way down to Tampa, as you guys as I've mentioned before, April's a big like Lego collector, and in Newnan, Georgia, there is a store called the Atlanta Brick Company. It's just their entire premise is Lego. And so they actually had a few of the Lego Dimensions sets for like the Wii U, the PS3, and the Xbox 360. And sitting on top was just one of the games. So I wound up picking it up. It was only $5. It was Lego Dimensions for the Wii U. But why this is a bigger deal is that this dude is actually sealed. I don't know how well you can see that here. And as any collector probably does, if it's sealed and it's $5, you buy it. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's sealed and it's $5, just pick it up. The seal's actually in really good condition too. Like, if I were integrating games, this would actually be one I would consider doing, just because of how good this seal actually is. The next thing was actually this Merry Christmas box that April's uncle gave to me. He knows that I'm a game collector, so this was some stuff that he had that was just kind of collecting dust, and he offered it to me, and I was like, sure, I'll take it. Some of the stuff in here is actually really cool. The first thing in here is not so cool. It's Frogger, Hop, Skip, Jump, and Fun. But it's the Konami Kids Playground game. Is this something I'm ever gonna play? Probably not, but hey, it pads out the collection a bit. But when we dive in here a little deeper, we get into some of the more interesting stuff. We got some PC games. We've got Destruction Derby disc. We've got the NASCAR Racing disc, and we've got the Ultimate Doom disc. There's another disc in here, but I want to talk about it separately, because in here was also some manuals. We had the Destruction Derby manual. We have the manual for Micro Machines 2 Turbo Tournament, a Card Player's Paradise, and an instruction manual for a Doom screensaver. So that's a something. What else is in here is actually what I found to be like really, really cool in this set. We have the Zork Legacy Collection, which includes Zork Nemesis, Return to Zork, and the Zork Anthology. But alongside of that, we have this, the Zork Legacy Collection maps and manuals. And this is just really cool to see it all together. This isn't a particularly valuable collection, but the fact that this is now in my hands just is really, really cool. I don't really have a means to play it right now because my PC doesn't, I mostly use Mac, and my PC does not actually have a disk drive. So I'll have to figure that out, but still, it's a really cool thing to actually have. Gary, I know you watch, so again, thank you so much. And then before we dig into the N64 games, which is going to require a view, which I'm going to do a view change for because there's just so many to go through, there was one other thing I picked up at the same store that I got the N64 stuff at. I think I mentioned they were closing down. The store was closing down, so everything was on like a stupidly good sale. I found a complete in-box Super Nintendo Classic. Now, this is something that I didn't really expect to own because, like, I've always been in the camp of I want the original hardware. I want to play the games, like, as they were originally intended, as they were originally meant to be played. And so playing them on this, to me, isn't much different than playing them on an emulator. But the cool thing about this is that this is still an official Nintendo product. And so to have this gonna be, like, up on my shelf as a bit of a display piece, I think it's going to be really cool, especially as this gets older, and I feel like this is something that's going to just appreciate in value. Now that the hype around it has come and gone, and it's kind of settled in price, I feel like as the days go on, this is something that's going to go up in value. So, especially to have it complete like this. So that's really cool and something that I'm really excited to have on my shelf. Okay, but now I'm actually going to move the camera, because we've got, as you can see in here, we've got a lot of N64 games to go through. I want to just kind of rocket through them, and I feel like that would be best done from the top-down perspective. Let's shift you over, we'll do that, and then we'll finish this video up. Alrighty, let's talk. Ignore the big Nike logo. This is not involving Nike. This is about N64 games. You can already see what one of them is. But again, like I said, the store that I really like was unfortunately closing down. But because of that, he was actually liquidating stock. Now, I didn't get all of these from him, but I did get 26 games from him, but we'll go over why that didn't exactly work out. So I'm just going to rapid fire through these because none of them are particularly valuable. I have history with none of them, so I just want to get through the list as quickly as possible so that way this video doesn't get too long. So you guys can tell me if any of these are actually like hidden gem goods, and I'll make sure to go back and try them out. So first up, we've got Destruction Derby 64. We've got NBA Live 99. Fun fact, I did not pay $4.99 for this. I paid less than that for pretty much every game in this box. I paid less than $5 for. We got Kobe Bryant in NBA Courtside. We got Revolt with a stupid Blockbuster sticker on it. Quick thing, I don't mind the rental stickers all that much. Honestly, I don't. But Blockbusters was like very, very invasive. Like, this sticker stretches down and completely covers the label art here. So if you tried to get this off, it would just rip the label art off. And that is just horrible. Like, Blockbuster, why did you ever do this to games? We have Mia Hamm Soccer 64, I think. Maya. Somebody who understands sports will have to let me know. Major League Baseball featuring King Griffey Jr. Hybrid Heaven. Virtual Pool. Mike Piazza's Strike Zone. Extreme G. I bought Extreme G2 at one of the conventions, and it was fine, but this one looks like a dog got a hold of it. I don't honestly know why I bought this one, because I'm going to look for another copy of it, because just look at this damage. I bought it because it was incredibly cheap and I didn't have it, so that's why. We have WCW Mayhem, NFL Blitz 2001, Jeopardy, F1 Pole Position 64, NBA Showtime, NBA on NBC, F1 World Grand Prix, Xena Warrior Princess, The Talisman of Fate, Aero Fighter Assault, NHL 99, Wayne Gretzky 3D Hockey 98, Aero Gauge, NFL Quarterback Club 99, Fox Sports College Hoops 99, Wipeout 64, NBA in the Zone 98, and we have NBA Courtside featuring Kobe Bryant 2. That's a stack of games. Here's the fun part. Most of them I got from that store that was closing, so I got them ridiculously cheap. But every other store that we went to was also having some kind of sale for Christmas. There was a buy two get one free at one of the stores. There was 30% off at another store. There was every store there was 15% off at another store. Every store had some kind of sale going on, which made getting all of these possible. So that is awesome. The problem with the store that was closing down, I was just kind of sifting through all of his games, and he brought me over a box to kind of start putting everything in. And I was kind of just sorting through games and setting some to the side, setting some over in different places, and he just started loading up the box for me. And I wound up getting a couple of doubles, including in the ones that I already owned. All-Star Baseball 99 and 99, WWF Attitude I already owned. NASCAR 2000 I didn't actually own already, but these both were duplicates that he just put in the box. He wasn't paying attention and I wasn't either, so whoops. And then I accidentally also bought this V-Rally Edition 99, which unfortunately I didn't pay enough attention. The dude who sold it to me wasn't paying attention and sold me a European copy. While hitting halfway of the N64 games is a big deal and is celebration worthy in and of itself, I wanted to really celebrate. And there it is now. I'll be right back. Alongside of getting half of the N64 games, I wanted to add a special one to my collection. Just showed up in the mail yesterday. I have already opened it because I wanted to double check it just to make sure everything was okay, but I feel like something this important should be shared with you guys as well. In order to properly celebrate hitting the halfway mark of the N64 games, I decided to add one of the harder games of the set to get to the collection, and that game is Stunt Racer 64. It feels wild to have this in my hands because I've only ever seen it horrendously overpriced at conventions. And while I still paid a pretty penny for this, I actually feel like I gave what could be considered a fair price for it. So yeah, that's the games added to the collection this round. So yes, I believe I miscounted earlier. Something else I did over the break because of the screw up with the N64 games. I went and added and updated my Google Docs spreadsheet that has all my game collection in it, at least for every system that has a complete library. And as of today, I now own 154 of the 296 N64 games. We are over halfway now, and to have one of those halfway points being Stunt Racer, it feels wild to actually have this in my collection, because this, whenever I first started wanting to collect, this one just seemed out of reach because of its value. So I'm very excited to see where all this goes in this coming year, and I'm very excited to share all of it with you guys. If you're watching this and aren't subscribed, because most of you aren't subscribed, I would ask that you please subscribe, because we're going to be going on some good adventures this year and we're going to have a grand old time, and I'm going to share all of it with you guys. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, y'all.